initiative of global nature. What is it? We have partnered with International Institute for Peace and Tourism, India chapter, which in turn partners with 26 other universities, which make a network, global network, which is supported by United Nations World Tourism Organization. What is it about? What is this peace message of peace? If you look back, India started this message, along with its Buddhist monks, going and spreading the message of Buddha all over the world. They did not know a word of the foreign language. They didn't know what they will get in the next meal or what dangers they would get. They didn't care. They went and made friends with their motto of peace. Friendship to everyone, peace. That is travel and tourism. I think with this we can win the world. What is it that we are now set upon ourselves to go for? We are creating modern messiahs of peace. You call it MBA, but I call it messiahs for travel and tourism. We would like to create such people so that the message of peace from India once again rebounds all over the world. How do we do about it? Yes, old aspirations and vision, but modern technology and trying with how we would like to achieve this goal. Now, it's not an easy thing to start a professional course with this next aspiration. Not just business as such. Yes, business definitely. What is this business all about? And the business all about is, this is a Make in India program, Made for India program, and for India program, a professional course for peace through travel and tourism. So that most people come to India, travel, get to know the country, and most Indians travel abroad and get to know them. Knowing each other builds bridges. At a distance, oh, he's a stranger. Actually, he's an enemy. But coming through, coming nearer, actually, I come from the south. My education has been in the south, then abroad. I have next door people from Rajasthan, Marwar. They came into the society 40 years back on the same day as I came. Believe me, I had an idea about Marwaris. They are business people, they don't care for anybody. My ideas are shattered too. You couldn't have such beautiful neighbors next to you. They take care of your safety, security, all the needs. They are no more our neighbors, they are my parivar. How can we make parivar of the entire world? Actually, Atal Bihari Vajpayee said, we can't choose our neighbors, but we can be friends with them. That's it. That's the message. But all this business professional course is all about trying to give this hand-up of how to make friends all over, win friends, and make money for yourself, make money for others. On this great occasion, we had 3 hours of vigorous debate. It enthralled. I think the industry people came and enriched us through and through. I thank all of them. I welcome you. Welcome to one and all. I hope your support, particularly of the government of Maharashtra, government of India, and the industry will be always with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request the dignitary, who is the founding director of IIPT India and the past president of Travel Agents Federation of India, Mr. Ajay Prakash.
please. Glasses.
Good evening, everybody. Pleasure to have you here. And thank you, Dr. Manjunath, for giving all the support that you have given to IIPT India and continue to do so. IIPT India was launched officially on the 30th of January last year. Now, you could call it coincidence, you could call it karma. Because 30th of January also happens to be the date that Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. And it was by chance that this was the date that was given to us to launch IIPT India in Delhi during SAKE. It's been an eventful year since. We were expecting to have Dr. Louis D'Amour, who is the global president and the founder of IIPT, which is a 30-year-old organization, which works very closely with the UNWTO and governments across the world. And it's based on a very, very simple premise. Number one, that tourism, travel and tourism, perhaps the biggest industry in the world, could be the first global peace industry. And two, that every tourist is potentially an ambassador for peace. Of course, it sounds a little utopian when you talk about peace through tourism. But considering that tourism will only grow, that the desire to travel to new places will only increase as people become more aspirational, have more disposable income, it is definitely a source that can be tapped. Because a big part of conflict is the fear of the other. And when you travel, when you get out into the world, when you meet other people, then you realize that there are more things in common that we have than the differences that separate us. So, without further ado, I will just quickly run through what we've done in the last year, just to bring everybody up to date on what IIPT is all about. So yes, it's based on these two simple premises that we talked about, and the primary goal of IIPT is to mobilize the travel and tourism industry as a leading force for poverty reduction. At its heart is the credo of the peaceful traveler. It's a very, very short 6-8 line credo, but what it says in very general terms is that I will travel with an open mind and an open heart. I will accept with grace and gratitude the diversity I encounter. I will appreciate all cultures that I discover, respect and thank my hosts for their welcome, offer my friendship to everyone I meet, and, most importantly, for us in the industry, support travel services that share these views and act upon them, and by my spirit, words and actions encourage others to travel the world in peace. So this is the launch that we did at SAKE New Delhi in 2015 January, when we were happy to have Dr. Mullick, who was then Secretary of Tourism, who's also on our advisory council. Currently, he's the chairman of the Rajasthan Public Service Commission and is not available to us in his constitutional position. We also, after that, traveled to Johannesburg in February to attend the International Symposium, which was organized by IIPT to honor the memories and the legacies of Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and Mahatma Gandhi, the three greatest apostles of peace the world has ever known. There were students of SVIMS, 20 students who went along with us and had the opportunity to interact with a host of people, including Mrs. Naomi King, who is the sister-in-law of Martin Luther King, Nandi Mandela, who is the granddaughter of Nelson Mandela, Dr. Talib Rifai, and a host of other people from the tourism business. After that, in March, we conducted a session on the woman traveler in India, which was addressed by Dr. Talib Rifai, and we had a number of people, including one Sanaya, who is currently Secretary Tourism, who participated in it. And then Kiran was talking about the International Cultural Diplomacy Center, which we went and participated in. At the first Maharashtra International Travel Mart, we conducted 2 sessions, one on tourism as a tool for peace. The gentleman in the picture is Dr. Patrick Kalifunga, who is the head of the consortium of collaborating universities that we were talking about, and the Vice Chancellor of Livingston International University for Tourism and Excellence in Business Management. He also came here to participate. And the lady in the picture is Kia Sher, a very, very unique lady. Her husband and her daughter were killed at the Oberoi during the attacks. And she has made it her mission to make India, and especially Mumbai, one of the top global peace cities in the world. She works very closely with the police and with the government. She is just flown back to the United States, otherwise she would be here with us this evening. The second session we did was on women's empowerment and strategies for women's empowerment in tourism, which again we conducted at the MITM. After that, we had the first awards for empowered women in Indian tourism, which were conducted as part of the closing ceremony of the first Maharashtra International Travel Mart, where the governor was there and gave away the awards to these 5 outstanding women who have contributed in their own way to tourism initiatives that foster peace and generate employment and end conflict and resolve conflicts within their own chosen spaces. So that's what we've done in the last 1 year. We also went to the Central University of Jammu and did a 1-day program over there. And we've created an IIPT Center of Excellence at the Central University Jammu, which is something that we're planning to do across the country at various universities, starting of course next with Shiksha Anusandhan, sir. So then we've had interaction at SVIMS with students of the Harvard Business School who came down, and we had our students interact with them. This is from the symposium, this is from the cultural, at Berlin, the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. And the next thing that's happening is the symposium that's happening at Bhubaneswar, which is from the 1st to the 3rd of March, under the leadership of Dr. Siddhikant Mishra. And IIPT is proud to be associated with this initiative. What we're looking at is rolling out the IIPT initiative across the country. Having formed a chapter over here a year ago, we're looking to see how we can engage with the trade, how we can engage with educational institutions, because education remains a very, very important part of what we're trying to do. The future generations are the ones that will carry this forward, and it is important for us to engage with them. We're also looking at how we can involve the trade, corporate memberships, work with consulates, and other global alliances, including associations that include IATA and the WTTC, along with the UNWTO. This, of course, is something that Kiran's talked about, that we spent the afternoon, the consortium of collaborating universities, where we're talking about student exchange programs, faculty exchange programs, and courses that span more than one culture. That, in a nutshell, is what the IIPT has been doing for a year. The next thing that we're doing is, on the 11th of March, at ITB, which is perhaps the largest travel trade fair in the world, we're replicating the awards that we did for Indian women in tourism. We're doing the global awards for empowered women in tourism. Dr. Talib Rifai has again agreed to be there and to give away the awards in his capacity as Secretary General of the United Nations WTO. We've got ministers from Seychelles, including from South Africa. Hopefully our own minister also will be there. So this is a very, very young organization in India. It has a long history globally, but our journey has just begun, and we thank all of you for being part of it, and we look forward to your support as we go on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to welcome Mr. Kiran Yadav, who is the Executive Director of Sir M. Vishweshwara Institute of Management Studies and also the Founding Director of IIPT India Chapter.
Good evening to all of you. I think you've already heard about IIPT India. I'll just quickly introduce you to the program that we are starting. The MBA. Okay, doesn't matter. One of the things that we realized is that if we want to make IIPT work in India, we got to involve the youth. And the best way to involve the youth is through the education system. And having a natural ally in SVIMS, we decided that we will try and work out programs that can actually help us reach out and convey this concept of peaceful tourism right from the school age. Whilst we were doing so, one of the things that we realized is that IIPT, the global body, has got something called as the Consortium of Collaborating Universities. And in that consortium are several top universities from across the globe. And they are all committed to the concept of peace through tourism and education by involving programs where the tourism students actually travel to each other's universities, spend time there, work at the local offices, get to know the culture, sensitize themselves to the global aspects of tourism. We decided and we immediately took the jump, and with the help of Sir M. Vishweshwara Institute of Management Studies, we joined the consortium. The consortium then has now opened its doors for us to be able to do programs. This consortium is headquartered at Livingston, under the Livingston International University. So the first thing we did was we signed up with Livingston International University to be able to offer their marquee program, which is called the MBA Tourism Excellence in India. And while doing so, we also got them to accept our partnership by accepting SVIMS as an institution that will deliver half of the program. And accordingly, we worked out an arrangement and agreement whereby the first half of the program happens in India and the second half of the program happens in Zambia. Furthermore, we were able to consolidate our situation by bringing in partners from Lancaster University in UK, Turku University in Finland, and believe me, there are several others in the line who actually want to do reciprocal programs. We are also working very closely with SCAL International, which is a foundation that actually has been uniting the trade all over the world on various aspects of, celebrating success as well as planning for the future. And they have got a unique program called the SCAL International Youth Program, and we've also decided to work with them very closely. One of the major advantages of the international MBA in Tourism Excellence is that we have received great support from the industry in India, because everybody feels that this is something that will add value. And today, in fact, to our great pleasure, we found that every representative from the industry was questioning us from a perspective which we could see as to how they could use our program, how they could deploy our students. And I think that is the key to making that program succeed. We will be having 30 students selected from across the India. We work very closely with Dr. Siddhikant Mishra and the AICT board. There are almost 600 institutions that do a bachelor's course in travel and tourism. We are hoping to be able to attract the 30 best from there to be able to take them to the next level through this program. We feel that that is the way ahead as far as education in tourism is concerned. As far as setting up centers, as Ajay has said, we plan to set up 100 centers of excellence with various universities across India, and we've already lined up the next 5 of them, which will happen in the next quarter, and we'll go towards making it more. Today, we have with us Mr. Sumit Mullick, who is the Additional Chief Secretary of GAD and the Chief Protocol Officer for Maharashtra State. He has kindly consented to be our chief guest, and he's been very understanding and supportive of what we are doing. But I would like to request him, sir, to give us a few words of advice and guidance of what you think we can do to make this work better. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Thank you. A few days ago, when Dr. Kiran Yadav and called Ajay to walk into my office, and they told me about this program, I was very excited about it. Because in my career, I've held a number of portfolios. The 2 portfolios I was very sort of kind of attached to, devoted to, passionate about. One was education, and the second was tourism. In education, of course, I didn't look after centers such as these. These come under the Higher and Technical Education Department. I was more involved from kindergarten up to what they call junior college class 12. But still, it's education. And tourism, I was holding additional charge of tourism for a couple of years, and I found it very exciting. And I still try to involve myself, giving free advice to whoever comes my way on tourism. Today there's a dual program. One is a launch and the other one is anniversary. So tonight is doubly important, so be happy. This is a good value for money, having 2 programs rolled into one. When I came here to this institution, first time coming here, I felt like a tourist. And I had an excellent tour guide, a very well-trained tour guide in Dr. Kiran Yadav. He showed me around the institution. He gave me, as every tour guide should do, give me a background on the institution, the history of the institution, the interesting features of the institution, the future plans of the institution. And as a tourist, I was also treated to a culture program. And I'm sure there'll also be some good local cuisine also here. This is all the things, the culture, the cuisine, the architecture, the heritage, these are all important points that a tourist looks for. So it comes naturally to you to understand what the tourist wants. Now, peace through tourism, it's a very interesting concept. It's not a new concept. People have been saying that the best way to break down barriers between communities, between nations, between regions is to know who the person is beyond the fence. And to get to know that person means that you get to know that he is more or less like you, he has the same existential problems like you, he worries like you, he's got the same aspirations like you, he is you. So it breaks down barriers, it breaks down fear, it breaks down tensions between countries. So as tourism secretary, I was also thinking once in a while about tourism and peace. And peace is something that we should all think about. Because if you go through I'm basically a history graduate. So then I had to study the history of humanity. And the history of humanity is all about wars and bloodshed. It's continuous, it never stops. But the problem now is that these days we don't use sticks and stones or bows and arrows or bullets. Now we've got nuclear weapons. And war in a nuclear age is unthinkable, but we have to think about it. because it can happen. I remember one of these writers that I was very fond of, scientist, but also science fiction, was Carl Sagan. So, I mean, given the number of planets and galaxies and stars in our universe and probably the possibility of multiple universes, there should be n number of civilizations in outer space which are more advanced than us. But so far we're not able to discover any, none of them are trying, if they exist, can make contact with us, just silence from the stars. So one theory that he propounded is that there probably is a law in the universe, that once a civilization reaches a certain technological level, that civilization has to self-destruct. So we reached that stage. So we are at the threshold of self-destruction. Because nuclear and the nuclear weapons cannot be contained. Technology spreads whether you like it or not. So now we have North Korea having nuclear weapons, Israel, a whole lot of countries now have nuclear weapons, capability of nuclear weapons, and nuclear powers which have not declared the fact that they have nuclear weapons. And so now, for our generation, for future generations, we have to start thinking of peace. Now, normally, traditionally, when we think of peace, I mean, take an example like our own neighborhood. We have had wars with Pakistan, we have had wars with China. Now, conflicts between nations is basically because of border disputes, fights over resources, or ideological wars like fascism versus communism. In our case, it is border disputes. So ever since independence for several decades, we've been negotiating with the Pakistanis, we've been negotiating with the Chinese. So it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Because basically, again, we are still very biologically primitive. And we still have a very strong tribal instinct in us. There's something called a reptilian complex. There are complexes in the base of our brain that all our territorial behavior, all our aggression, all our tribal behavior comes from there. And everything else that we do is just a veneer. And then once war starts or the social order breaks down, then your primitive tribal behavior comes into force. So what happens in negotiation, it is this R complex, it's a tribal behavior that is at play. Nobody is willing to give an inch. So then what do we do? So we've got to try other methods. One method is increased trade and commerce, which is good. Now, our trade with China has cost $70 billion, it goes up $100 billion. So that creates a lot of bonds. It creates a lot of bonds between the traders, between the industrialists, and so therefore war becomes less likely because it is not the economic interest of either nation to go to war. And the second important thing is tourism. So then if you get more tourists going across to Pakistan, more tourists from Pakistan coming across to India, which is not happening because getting a Pakistani visa is probably next to impossible, and India getting a visa to Pakistan national is also very difficult. But that has to happen. But it's happening to China. So we have a lot of Indians are going to China, and the Chinese are also started showing interest in coming to India. So that breaks down barriers. Like somebody says, you understand that after all, we're all sailing on this lonely planet, and this lonely planet that we got. So war doesn't make sense. So tourism is something that can really contribute to peace. And now, many people think that tourism can solve wars, and so tourism can't solve wars. It can probably prevent them to some extent. But you don't get tourists going to troubled conflict areas. You don't get any tourists going to Somalia or going to Syria or going to Iraq or going to Lebanon. They will avoid troublesome areas. But if tourism is encouraged in a particular nation, so that tourism becomes very important for the lifeblood of the nation, for the economy of the nation, for the job security of millions of people, then war becomes less likely, conflict becomes less likely. Like for instance, let's say that a country, the major percentage of the GDP comes from tourism. Not a major percentage, but a significant chunk of the GDP comes from tourism. And there are tens of millions of jobs dependent on tourism. Now tourism requires what? It requires tourists. It requires both domestic tourists as well as foreign tourists. So if there's going to be a conflict, some kind of civil war, there's going to be some kind of war with another nation, the tourists will not come. And then the entire economy will crash. So then there's a very strong vested interest not to happen. And tourism, it's for the cost-benefit analysis, you get the best bang for your buck. In industry, it takes about 60 crores rupees to generate one job. In tourism, it is the other way around. With 1 crore rupees, you can generate 60 jobs. There are a number of statistics like that. One hotel room will generate 14 jobs. So the maximum amount of the maximum amount of employment potential is in tourism. Now India has to get its act together. We get only 9 million foreign tourists coming to India, which is nothing compared to Ireland, compared to France, compared to China. And these countries get 60, 70, 80 million tourists coming every year. You only get 9 million. So a couple of years back, I attended a conference on tourism in Berlin, London, Delhi. So the research showed that the reasons why foreign tourists don't come in such large numbers to India, one was the safety of women. That was the number one concern at that time. I'm not sure whether it's the same concern now. The number of, after that Nirbhaya case, which was very broadly flashed in the foreign media, the number of women travelers came down by 25% next year. And the second is sanitation. So now that we're talking about sanitation, now that we have the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, if it works, and we get a sanitation infrastructure in place, so that should also help getting foreign tourists. And number 3 was infrastructure, like airports or roads or hotels, etc. So 9 million is nothing. It has the potential of going up 7 times, 8 times, and more. Because international tourism is growing rapidly every year. It's already about $1 trillion. People are living longer, people have more disposable income, and